need you to take the controls.
Okay.
So I first discovered Star Wars when the first film was released in the cinemas. I remember it just blowing my tiny mind. I'd never seen anything like it. From there on, running around my yard or schoolyard and arguing over who'd be Han and who'd be Luke was just a big part of my childhood. I always wanted to be Han.
Yes, I bet you have.
Well, depended. I probably wanted to be Vader sometimes as well, knowing me.
If that is your destiny.
My dad knows everything there is to know about Star Wars, pretty much. Like, when I got the script for the first time, they like sent it over. He gave me a little cheat sheet to know a little bit more about Star Wars and like all the like references and the aliens and, you know, all this stuff.
My dad introduced me, but also my brothers. I remember walking down on the stairs one day and they were playing A New Hope, but I heard all the sounds and I was like, oh my gosh. And then I saw Princess Leia and I was like, oh my gosh, that's my icon.
That's right.
My dad's favorite movie of all time is A New Hope. And I remember him just showing me all the movies and I just remember really liking them. And then I also remember him like taking me to the theaters to go see, I think like Force Awakens, Rise.
It was like kind of a bonding moment for me and my dad. I like grew up with all the Star Wars movies.
I recognized your foul stench when I was brought on board.
Charming to the last.
So the very first thing that we ever worked on together was a lightsaber fight starring Ford. And I did all the lightsaber Photoshop. We had to export all the frames and do it all by hand.
Airbrush tool.
Yeah, it was a lot of work, but I think it turned out great.
You have learned much, young one.
You'll find I'm full of surprises.
My favorite scene in all of Star Wars has to be the end of Return of the Jedi, the final lightsaber battle between Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. When the music starts to come up and oh my god, he's turned to the dark side. Best.
I'll never turn to the dark side.
To be invited to be a part of this universe was just a true thrill. You know, there's something to be said for the play acting as a child, assuming roles, running around, wanting to be space pirates or saviors in that world was a leap of the imagination, which is really at the heart of what my job is. And so becoming an actor and then being asked to be an actor in that universe is like a beautiful full circle.
It still feels really weird. Yeah. It still doesn't really feel real. It's really exciting. I loved the script when I read it for the first time. It's such a nice story. It was different to see this kind of story in Star Wars too.
I think it's really nice how it kind of changes. And you'll see the homages to all these classic movies that we all kind of grew up with. It's really beautiful, and I'm so honored to be part of that.
I think what was interesting about being asked to actually work on a Star Wars series within the Star Wars world, I suddenly felt, a real reverence for it and a real admiration and appreciation for it. It was like a fable that I learned from as a youngster. So reflecting on that has been really a lovely part of the whole process.